G'day ladies and squirms, Connor here from Sudobs Media back with another video. And today we're doing our full review of the Oppo A76. I think you'll like this one. It's one of their budget range again, the A series or the A70 series, the A76. So without further ado, hit the like button and the subscribe button and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. So the Oppo A76, as I said, it's budget. It comes in at around 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, 720p display. But you wouldn't notice just by looking at it. You really do have to try and push it to its limits to be able to notice. And that's typical of smartphones. We all want the biggest, baddest display we can get, but we don't even notice it when it's playing 720p. This phone packs a little bit of a punch for the price it's in. I think for $349, it's probably competing a lot higher than that with some of its competitors. Okay, so we also have, for the cameras, we're talking 13 megapixel on the rear, plus that 2 megapixel bokeh camera. So it doesn't do much, it gives you a bit of bokeh. But then you also have 8 megapixels on the front for your selfie photos. We also have a micro SD card slot here. How about that for 350 bucks? I think that's pretty awesome. It weighs about 190 grams or just shy of 190 grams and comes in a nice size of 6.56 inches, which is a little bit on the big size for me, but certainly not up there with the biggest. Now, when we're talking the software on the A76, it's your typical Oppo software. Not bad by any stretch. It's actually quite reliable, quite customizable, and quite fun to play with. And you do get a lot of features on there that just make your experience more user-friendly. So I would recommend that you get this phone, you dive in to those settings and play around with it and customize the phone and those features to suit you better, because they really are good features in there that do make your day-to-day phone use better. Okay, let's talk about the performance. Now, we are running a Snapdragon 680. And when you hear Snapdragon, you think, oh, beauty, it should be a ripper. And most of the time that's true until you get into the flagships. That's where you start to see a lot of problems. But down on the low end, I think the Snapdragon 680 is a relatively good performer, and you'll see that in your day-to-day use of the Oppo A76. It can cope with what you throw at it. You got to think about the person who buys the A76. They're not going to be editing video on it. They're probably not going to be taking too much video, and they're probably not going to be multitasking. So for that purpose, this is a really good chip. It sits right where it should be, and you might just be buying this phone to get you through till you get your next flagship. And if that's the case, then you're going to be satisfied with it as well. And if you're one of those people who doesn't really care about specs and just uses your phone for the odd photo and video and mainly talking to people and texting people, you'll be more than happy. You can also browse your internet pages and Facebook really well. So for those of you that want this phone at this price point, you're going to be satisfied. Okay, here we go to test out the camera on the A76. So we're actually going into trying to adopt a cat. And today, we're going to be taking photos of cats. So, check out the cats. So we just went into the cat farm or the adoption center and took a lot of these photos, as you can see. Now these were actually taken in quite low light, and it was a bit hard to get a photo that was nice and sharp because cats move a lot. But we did manage to snap off a few good ones, and as you can see from the rest of these photos, outdoors in good light, you're going to get some really good photos with the Oppo A76. Definitely photos that are worth keeping anyway. For video, it's a little bit of a different story. You do have 1080p 30 frames per second on the front and back cameras, and the sensors are a little bit lackluster. And this is 1080p on the rear facing camera. Now it does only have, wait. Now it does only have two lenses, just your main lens and then a bokeh lens. So really only one lens, but it's good enough. Yeah, this is 1080p 30 frames per second on the rear facing camera. It's a better sensor than the front facing, that's why it will look better. But you let me know, what does it look like, what does it sound like, would you be satisfied with it for the price of $350? I think you should be, because you can pay a lot more and get similar results. So not bad, 350 bucks. Front facing camera on the Oppo A76. It's good enough to get the job done. Now this is an extremely bright day for this little camera sensor, so it's really challenging for it. But you can see you can still get a decent video, good enough for the family photos. There's a little one behind me, she's getting attacked by wildlife. But not bad. Not bad video for the front facing camera. 1080p, 30 frames per second. Doesn't go any higher than that, it goes lower, goes 720p and 1080p. This is 1080 front facing. But like I said when I was filming with those cameras, those people that buy this phone are buying it because this is all they need. I mean, some people don't need a $2,000 smartphone, some people only need a $300 smartphone. And this is where the Oppo A76 comes in nicely. I would say for 350 bucks, you're going to be hard pressed finding a phone that's just as good. Now we can look at battery life as well, and battery life on the Oppo A76 is definitely 2 days of battery life. We're looking at like 5,000 milliamp hour battery. For me as a heavy user, I'm getting about a day and a half out of one charge, but that's like hardcore using, going for it, like Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, recording video, taking photos, emails, text messaging, WhatsApp, video calls, everything you can think of. So I'm smashing it, more than your average $350 phone user would. And I'm still getting a day and a half. On a Galaxy S22, I'm getting about 4 hours use out of one charge. So Oppo are doing something smart here. I do like the fast charging as well, the Super VOOC. It's pretty good. It charges quickly, charges really quickly actually, and you also get a charger in the box, which is fantastic, and so you should. Isn't it funny that for 350 bucks you get a charger, you get a charging cable, and you get a case, but for 2,000 you get nothing? Now I do like the build and design as well. It is quite nice looking. I do have the black version. I forget the name. I'll put the name up here. I forget the name of it, but it looks good. The blue looks good as well from what I can see in the photos, but in person the black looks amazing. It really looks like a higher end device than what it is because of that design. It's got the two cameras on it that look a bit like some of the Xiaomi cameras with the big round lens, but that looks pretty cool. There's nothing wrong with that. We have USB Type-C, we have a charging port, we have speakers at the bottom. Not amazing speakers, but good enough. I mean, everything on this phone is a little bit above what you would expect for this price point. I think it's a really good phone. And I really do like that it's got a headphone jack. You know, a lot of big manufacturers say, oh, we took the headphone jack out so we could put more battery in. Yet here we are with 5,000 milliamp hours of battery, a 6.5 inch display, headphone jack. I mean, who's pulling whose leg here? Certainly not Oppo. They're giving it all to us for a great price point, and you got these other manufacturers giving us nothing for a really steep price. So pretty impressive from Oppo. Now we are also talking IPS LCD display, which is 90 Hz. That's not bad either for the price. I mean, it's pretty smooth when you're scrolling, and gaming is, well, it's gaming on a $350 phone. I was playing a bit of Genshin Impact, a bit of Asphalt 9, and it was coping just fine with those games. Bear in mind that those games are optimized to work on the device you're using it on. So they'll adjust the settings, the graphics settings, to suit your device. There was definitely some issues with Genshin Impact because that's a pretty heavy game, but it was good enough to play. It certainly wasn't bogged down to the point where it was unusable. Now also for that software, we are running Android 11, so we're falling back a bit there. And we're also on ColorOS 11.1. I don't expect to get too many updates here, but the software is running well, performing well, and giving you what you need as a daily user. The only area where I'd like to see this improved and a bit of certainty is around security updates. I don't mind if my devices stay on Android 11 or Android 12 or whatever they're currently on, just as long as they're secure. Especially in the current climate, you want a secure phone with secure security updates. Like the Pixel phone, like the Apple, like the Samsungs, you want those security updates as quick as you can get them. And I just don't think we're going to get that here with Oppo. But I really do enjoy the Oppo software. I don't think it's anything to scoff at. I've always said that it's found its feet, it's mature, and it performs really well in today's market with Android 11 and above. Happy camper with the software, just want those security updates. Alright folks, let's recap on the Oppo A76. These are the standout features for me. Headphone jack, micro SD card slot, 5000 mAh battery. This is what makes this phone stand out, in my opinion. I mean, it definitely performs well, and the camera is passable, and all that sort of stuff. But the price, and to get these hardware features that you don't get with other phones, no matter how much you spend, you don't get a headphone jack, you don't get micro SD slot, but you get all that with the Oppo A76. So that's why I would say it's a standout for this price point. What flagships have those? None. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Check you.